Hello coders, today we're going to be talking about finding the best e-commerce solution for your client's needs. I'm going to be talking about it from the perspective of a freelancer, being a freelancer myself. If you hear any squeaks, if you hear any growling or barking or pinching or whatever, it's Murphy. He is in the office, he's playing with his little ball at the moment, so if you hear any noises, it's not me, it's the dog. Anyway, a question that was asked on the Discord server, which is howtocodewell/Discord, was about e-commerce and finding the best solution. How does one go about doing that? I'm going to talk about it from the freelancer's perspective, as I've mentioned, and it really boils down to a series of questions to see the feasibility of the project, and then to narrow that down to get a MVP or a minimum viable product. So some of the questions that I would ask a client if they come and ask me, oh, what kind of e-commerce solution should we use? I would be asking things like, how many products do you have? How many currencies do you need to support? What kind of traffic are you expecting in your first few months, few years, and so on and so forth? What kind of traffic do you currently have at the moment? How is the current data being managed? Are you currently using things like spreadsheets, databases, or is it all paper-based? What are the delivery rules? What are the tax rules? What else is required? Is it just an e-commerce shopping cart, or will you need a blog? Do you already have a blog currently running? Is it going to be static pages? Are you going to have an about page, a contact page? Will there be forms, and so on and so forth? Is there any technology that is currently in place and you want to attach this to, or is this a complete blank canvas? Does this need to be responsive? Mobile responsive, or is that something that we can deal with at a later date? And how many times are you going to be updating not only the products but also the site as well? And also, what kind of discount codes or promotions or any kind of marketing, what does that look like on the website? Then you can start addressing those, answering those questions, and then off of the back of that you get technical impacts. So, for example, if there is only 5 products, the technical solution is going to be very different if you have 50 products, 150 products, 5,000 products. Okay, so then you're talking about scaling this project out to having all of those products. You then have a discussion about stock management. Then you have a discussion about customer relations and refunds and all of that jazz. However, if it's just 5 products that you're doing, if it's just a very bespoke selection of products, then you don't need to go completely full-blown in a really technical solution. And we'll talk about those solutions in just a second. If you're only supplying this to a single country, you only have to worry about one currency, then there's no need to have an overly complicated back-end content management system that handles all sorts of different rules of delivery, all sorts of rules for currencies and tax rules and so forth and so forth. The more complicated your requirements are, the more complicated the technical solutions will be. So, for example, you could use, let's go for the over-the-top complicated solution. This could be Magento, because Magento allows you to really granularly control your shopping cart and your shopping cart experience. In fact, it allows you to have multiple stores that you could have and configure differently for different countries. One important question that you really need to ask is, what kind of products are you going to sell? Because this will have a technical impact. So, for example, you need to ask, are you going to be selling high volumes of the same product? And if you are, then you're going to be concerning yourself with stock management. This is where Magento is pretty good, to be honest, the stock side of products. However, if you're only selling small quantities of one-off bespoke products that perhaps are one-time products, as in maybe you're an artist and you're creating a sculpture, maybe you're doing some painting or some artwork, and you're creating an original that you're selling, then you're going to be less concerned with stock management. Of course, there are the prints and all of that stuff that you need to be concerned with, but you're not going to be selling high volumes of the same thing over and over again. That could come later on, perhaps with the prints as I've just mentioned. But it changes the perspective. It changes how you're going to approach this problem of what kind of e-commerce solution do I need right now? And that's the thing. It's the MVP, the minimum viable product that you need right now. So let's talk about the technical solutions. You could, for instance, be using Magento, as I've mentioned before. That's quite a complicated beast to play with. It also gives you the options of having multiple stores, multiple configurations in multiple languages, dealing with multiple regions and countries and currencies, and all of that complicated stuff. Tax logic, delivery logic, all of that good stuff. And then you have the Shopifys of the world. These are services that you will purchase that will handle a lot of the legwork for you. You then have a middle ground, such as WooCommerce, or other plugins that you can add to existing systems, such as WordPress or Drupal. So, first of all, you need to ask what other systems do you need to integrate with, then find a solution that works with that. Then you need to work out, well, how much of this stuff am I actually going to sell? And then, of course, you can ask all of the other questions that I've outlined here. And there are many more questions that you need to ask your client that is going to be more tailored towards the client's needs, requirements, and the business needs, and so on and so forth. And one thing I would definitely avoid doing is becoming blinkered and thinking, oh, I'm a PHP developer. I know Magento, and therefore every single e-commerce solution that I come up with is going to be Magento based. Because Magento is actually very complicated, quite overkill for some of these solutions. You really need to think about the customer's needs, the client's needs, their business needs, their requirements, and map a technical solution to their requirements. I want to thank everybody in the Discord server for having this conversation and talking about e-commerce and what kind of solutions they would come up with. If you want to join the discussion, please do so. It's howtocodewell.net/Discord. Also, I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and Sunday afternoons on Twitch. Links are all in the description below. Thanks for watching. Happy coding, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.